Prince William has just broken nearly 70 years of royal protocol to defend his father in one of the most dramatic moments modern Britain has ever seen. What he said about Keir Starmer left the Prime Minister standing in complete silence. And what followed could open the door to the most serious constitutional crisis since the abdication of Edward VIII. Less than an hour ago, Prince William arrived at Westminster Abbey for what was expected to be a routine ceremonial appearance. Nothing about it turned out to be routine. Instead of the usual rehearsed smiles and polite handshakes, William delivered 12 carefully chosen words that instantly changed the atmosphere in the room. My father's wisdom and dedication to this nation require no defense from any politician. The silence that followed was overwhelming. Keir Starmer, standing only a few meters away, appeared stunned. The color drained from his face. Cabinet ministers beside him shifted uneasily, unsure where to look or how to react. The moment froze the room. What sparked this extraordinary confrontation began 3 days earlier. Leaked WhatsApp messages revealed that figures close to Starmer had been involved in a coordinated effort to undermine King Charles. According to senior Conservative sources, the messages showed Labour strategists discussing plans to present the king as politically biased, out of touch, and a danger to modern democracy. One message, allegedly sent by a Downing Street aide, was particularly damaging. It read, "We need to make Charles the villain. Old, interfering, unelected. The public needs to see him as the problem, not us." The aim was clear: shift blame away from a struggling government by attacking the monarchy. But the situation becomes even more troubling. Documents later leaked to a major national newspaper suggested that Labour's strategy unit had been preparing this approach for months. The papers claimed American political consultants had been hired, the same firms known for running aggressive political campaigns in the United States, to help shape messaging designed to weaken public trust in the crown. The reported cost of this operation was more than £300,000 of public money. At a time when many British families are struggling with rising food and energy bills, the idea that taxpayer funds were used to damage the monarchy only added to public anger. Prince William decided he could not stay silent. Normally strict about remaining above politics, the Prince of Wales made a choice that palace insiders describe as unprecedented. He would speak publicly, directly, and in front of the entire political establishment. Sources close to William say he spent 2 full days preparing his words, consulting constitutional experts and senior advisors. Princess Catherine was said to be his strongest supporter. According to a family friend, she told him, "Your father needs you. Britain needs you. If not now, then when?" That conversation shows how deeply personal and serious the moment was for him. This was not an emotional outburst. It was deliberate, measured, and carefully planned. When William spoke again inside the Abbey, his words were calm but powerful. For centuries, the crown has served this nation with dignity, wisdom, and unwavering dedication. My father has devoted his entire life to the people of Britain, to our environment, to our communities, and to everything that makes this country what it is. His wisdom and dedication to this nation require no defense from any politician. The emphasis on that final word, politician, was unmistakable. Everyone present knew exactly who he was referring to. The reaction was immediate. Within minutes, social media erupted. Platforms across the world filled with support, as the hashtag #DefendTheCrown surged to the top of global trends in under 20 minutes. Video clips of William's statement gathered millions of views before Starmer's team could even prepare a response. The most damaging moment for the Prime Minister came from the cameras themselves. As William spoke, Starmer's reaction was captured in real time. He stood rigid, expressionless, visibly shaken, unable to respond. In a single moment, the balance of authority shifted in front of the nation. Yanek bat waze ho geyi hai. Yer surfek speech nahi thai. Yerek signal tha. Aba ga tum next hisabejna chaho ya is script k aglapat rewrite kawana ho. Bage do. Men isi tone or style mind continue ka dunga. The man who only days earlier had attacked the monarchy with such bitterness now stood in total silence. He was not defiant. He was not angry. He looked stunned, frozen in place, like a schoolboy caught red-handed by a headmaster. Body language experts who later reviewed the footage pointed to clear signs of distress. Starmer's hands were shaking slightly. He kept swallowing. One expert described it as the classic behavior of someone experiencing public humiliation in real time. The contrast was striking, almost brutal. So powerful was the visual moment that even loyal Labour supporters began to question their leader. Margaret Davies, a 64-year-old retired nurse from Cardiff who had voted Labour all her life, posted a short video that went viral within hours. "I've supported Labour through thick and thin," she said. But watching Keir stand there speechless while a prince defends his father, that's not strength. That's weakness. That's shame. Her video has now been shared more than 800,000 times and continues to spread. At the same time, the very people Labour claims to stand for are being quietly left behind. British veterans, men and women who served this country with honour, are sleeping on the streets of London tonight. Michael Patterson, a 71-year-old Falklands veteran, was found last week sheltering under Waterloo Bridge in freezing conditions. After 40 years of service to the Crown, his pension barely covers his medication. "I fought for this country," he told reporters, tears running down his face. "I watched my friends die for this country, and now I can't even afford a roof over my head." Michael's story is not rare. Figures released just yesterday by Veterans UK show that more than 6,000 former servicemen and women are currently homeless across Britain. 6,000 people who once wore the uniform now have nowhere to go. While Michael sleeps under bridges, Downing Street spent £1.2 million last month on diversity consultants and media advisors. Executive salaries, luxury hotels for government staff, and champagne receptions for Labour donors were all included. One particularly shocking entry in the government accounts revealed £38,000 spent on strategic communications training for junior ministers, effectively teaching them how to avoid answering questions directly. The contrast is so extreme, so morally hollow, that even newspapers usually friendly to Labour are now speaking out. The Daily Mirror, long considered Labour's strongest media ally, ran a front-page headline that said everything. "Veterans freezing while Starmer plots against the King." That was not opposition spin. That was Labour's own base turning away in anger. Then something happened that almost no one expected. King Charles himself broke his silence. Not with anger, not with political drama, but with something far more powerful, calm dignity and historical weight. At a private dinner at Buckingham Palace last night, sources confirmed that the King addressed a gathering of Commonwealth leaders with words that will be studied for years. "The Crown does not engage in political battles," His Majesty said, firmly but calmly. "We serve. We do not rule. But we also do not abandon the principles that have kept this nation stable through centuries of challenge." The setting made those words even more meaningful. Present at the dinner were the Governor-General of Canada, the Prime Ministers of Australia and New Zealand, and representatives from 15 other Commonwealth nations. By speaking to them directly, Charles was sending a message far beyond Britain. He was reminding the world that the Crown stands for something larger than any one politician or government. Palace insiders say every word was carefully chosen, reviewed by constitutional lawyers, and designed to carry multiple meanings at once. To Starmer, the message was clear: you crossed a line. To William, you have my full support. To the British public, the monarchy remains steady while politics descends into panic. The optics could not be worse for Labour. On one side stands a king who could have responded with anger, who has the influence to strike back, yet chose restraint and dignity. On the other stands a prime minister who attacked first, attacked hardest, and now looks small, bitter, and completely outmatched. But there is another development that makes Labour's position even more fragile. Behind closed doors, senior members of the House of Lords are preparing what one peer described as a nuclear option. Lord Harrington, a crossbench peer with 4 decades of experience in constitutional law, has been quietly consulting legal experts about whether the upper chamber can formally censure a sitting prime minister for attacking the monarchy. This has not happened since 1783. If the Lords move forward, it would trigger a constitutional shockwave and make Starmer's position almost impossible to defend. The fact that respected legal minds are even discussing this option shows just how far he has pushed the country into unknown territory. What makes the situation even more explosive is that 3 senior Labour peers have privately signalled they would support such a motion. Members of Starmer's own party in the Lords are willing to publicly rebuke him. The cracks are deeper than anyone realised. The fallout has been rapid, relentless, and deeply damaging. The pound sterling fell by 1.4% in early trading as international investors reacted to fears about Britain's political stability. In just a few hours, billions were wiped from pension funds and savings. Traders in the City of London described the mood as nervous and chaotic. One senior currency trader told Bloomberg, "Constitutional instability is the one thing markets simply cannot price in. When the foundations of a country come into question, nothing feels predictable anymore." Labour's polling, already collapsing, hit a new and historic low. The latest YouGov survey shows Conservative support rising to 38%, Reform UK climbing to 26%, and Labour sinking to just 23%. For the first time in modern British history, the governing party is in third place. That fact alone has sent shockwaves through Westminster. More detailed polling paints an even darker picture for Starmer. Among voters over 50, traditionally Labour's strongest group, support has dropped to just 17%. In the Midlands and the north of England, areas Labour must win to govern, they are now trailing Reform UK by around 20 points. Internal Labour polling is said to be even wise, showing the party on course to lose more than 150 seats if an election were held today. That would be their worst result since 1935. As the political pressure grew, protests broke out across London, Manchester, Birmingham, and Glasgow. Crowds numbering in the tens of thousands filled streets and squares. These were not carefully planned rallies. They were spontaneous expressions of anger from ordinary people who feel their values and traditions are under threat.